Welcome, everyone, to the 11.5 episode of the Best Ever Weiss Schwarz Set Review Show. 0.5 because this is a traditionally Japanese Weiss Schwarz release-based show. But to be honest, more so than being Japanese release-based, it's more so, new set-based. You know what I'm saying? But it just happens that in the world, in the realm of Weiss Schwarz, they're usually Japanese first, but this time, English exclusive set, fun stuff. And so we made it a 0.5 episode, and I'm joined today by just Tom because, honestly, we can't even find a person who wants to wake up at 9:30 to do a show. Like we're already morons. It's hard to find a third moron. Tom, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm doing fine. It's a little early, but I'm usually up at this time.
I'm actually frequently up at this time these days, getting swole at the gym, so just wanted to put that out there, flex a little bit. But thank you to our sponsors, Nova TCG, Strictly Brewing TCG, Weiss Tea Time. Weiss Tea Time especially, Nova and Strictly, it comes in and out, right? For English exclusive, it's just us, but a lot of times we do Japanese, and Nova, really comes through for us there. But Weiss Tea Time is the constant factor here, and definitely check out Taya's blog. I use that as a resource all the time. I can't read Japanese, so I can't look at spoilers on Japanese websites or read the Japanese card text, but I can get my translations on Weiss Tea Time. Also for Seven Deadly Sins, look. To be completely honest, even for English releases, we can read the cards, but the website database is really hard to navigate, and it doesn't really. It's hard to have one consistent location where you can browse through all the spoilers. And for Seven Deadly Sins, you basically, if you looked at a spoiler 2 weeks later and you want to compare it with the card 2 weeks ago, it's really hard. But on Weiss Tea Time, everything's in one place. So I just go there and look at the set, and I can read all the cards that have been spoiled so far. So great resource. Check it out. Nova TCG, Strictly Brewing TCG, we're just stores. But not just stores. We're stores with great prices, great staff, great ownership. And we help make this kind of content happen for you guys. So, am I missing something, Tom? Oh, our rating system. So on this show, if you're tuning in for the first time, this is a set review. We review and rate cards in the set. We have a special rating system that we use proprietarily on this show to help you guys navigate what cards you might want to pick up, and reflect why we think you should pick these up by giving them a star rating based on a perceived perception of what a card is worth in relation to the set. So, for example, a 1-star rating is a card that we just think is bad. You shouldn't pick them up. Just save your money there. Strictly Brewing TCG. Cards come out at noon, 12 p.m. PST, and if you see a 1-star, you don't need to pick this card up. 2-star cards are cards that you probably want to consider picking up, especially if they're cheap, especially, maybe you're speccing on this card because it has high potential, but it's just really niche for this current metagame. We have a specific metagame in English, and this card might not fit in it right now, potential later maybe, or, it's just a tech card that you play one of two of in the deck. It's pretty replaceable, and it's just maybe just like generic utility, so those are 2s. 3s are cards that we just don't know. It's okay to not know something, A lot of times, the world is a fascinating place, and we don't have all the answers to all the questions, and you just gotta admit sometimes that you just don't know how good a card or how bad a card is, and we give those 3s. 4s is just, that's in good territory. The card's good, pick them up. It's probably a good idea to pick up because there's very low chance that the card is not going to see play. Me and Tom, very experienced players. And I think 4 means we're pretty confident that the card is going to be playable. And then 5 is our special. We give 5s to cards that are unique to sets, that are, what your opponent, if they are playing against you, they will know those cards as well, because it's just so unique to the set that if they don't know the card, they're probably doing themselves a disservice. And you should probably, not just probably, you should definitely pick these up, especially early, because, these cards have potential to go up more later because they are the unique cards that every deck's probably looking to play, every 7 Deadly Sin player is looking to buy. And so, Tom, am I missing anything?
No, I think you covered everything.
Awesome, awesome. Let's get straight into it then. So we always start off the show with some trial deck highlights. For Seven Deadly Sins, we have 3. Let's get straight into it. First card is this Elizabeth. Usually on this show we have the card effects on, but since they're English cards, you guys can actually just read them. Thank you to Strictly Broken TCG for providing these high resolution scans. What a great shop.
Thanks, Strictly Broken TCG.
Pablo Picasso scans here, right here, man. Like, holy, Van Gogh, the Louvre, exclusive right here. Elizabeth, when this card becomes reversed, if this card's battle opponent is level 0 or lower, you may put that character into your opponent's stock. Put the bomb card of your opponent's stock into waiting room, typical stock bomb effect. Secondary ability, when this card is put into your waiting room from the stage, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose 1 Britannia character in your waiting room and return it to hand. The cost is to pay 2.
Nothing we haven't seen before. If I'm going to be completely honest, we've seen stock bomb, we've seen like removal level 0 bombs with like various utility effects. This is like a pretty mediocre one, I think. But it's still okay. So get nice boost to your tri-field game at level 0. That being said, probably just a 2.
Tri-field meaning attacking 3 times with 3 characters.
Mm-hmm.
Really.
Yeah. So, you generate the stock you need to use this effect.
Next up, we got another Elizabeth. This card comes in a very beautiful SP, but this is the base rarity art. When this card is placed on stage from hand, put the top card of your clock into waiting room. We call this healing. Secondary ability, you may put a Britannia character from your hand into waiting room. And when this card attacks, you pay that cost to put the bottom 2 cards of your opponent's deck into waiting room and deal X damage to your opponent. X equals the number of climaxes among those cards. I don't want to size shame here, but typically these effects mill more than 2. This one only mills 2, and I don't know about this one, Tom. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a little small, but the cost is also small to compensate a little for that. No stock cost is always nice for like a finishing-esque effect on a healer, which this is. It's not bad. That being said, it's just a generic, probably low ceiling healer. So while it is nice, it's honestly probably just a 2. It'll be useful, sometimes, but otherwise, being a healer is fine. Are you a big Elizabeth fan, Yue?
Absolutely, man. I definitely have watched this show. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of a fan of these scans, though. Like, check out these scans, dude. I think
you
Elizabeth
like that she only has
much better.
one eye.
Oh, does she actually?
No.
Okay. Whatever.
Actually,
moving on.
Maybe.
I just think all the characters look so much better when they're scanned well. Next card, we got this Dionne. She's sleeping. You usually don't get to see someone sleeping, but you get to see someone sleeping on this card. Put a card from your hand into your waiting room, and when this card is placed on stage from your hand, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose a Britannia character from your clock, return it to hand, and put the top card of your deck into clock.
Yeah, I'm just a generic costless discard outlet. Not the greatest, but still playable. So probably just a 2.
All right, and that's it for our TD highlights. If you're picking up a TD, those are the 3 cards you might want to consider putting into your main deck from the trial deck, and is a good starting point for upgrades. Now we move into yellow. Straight up, we usually have an intermission in between colors, but 3 cards, we don't need an intermission for that. First card, we got this Meliotis. Pablo Picasso right here. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, if you have another Britannia character, this card gets +1 level and +1500 power until end of the turn. Second ability, when this card's battle opponent becomes reverse, choose one of your other Britannia characters, rest it, and move it to an open position of your backstage. We call this effect Clean Cut. We have a cool function on this stream where you can type exclamation point and then one of the jargon that we use to get a description of that effect. So, Tom can put it in. I'll put it in. Tom can explain the card.
Sure, yeah. I would love to see a Pablo Picasso edit of this card. That being said, clean cuts are nice. They're nice level 0+. And this is big on the turn it's played. 3/5, pretty sizable. It'll beat a lot of stuff. and with some help, it'll beat most oversizes in the game. So yeah, just a nice, solid, consistent level 0+. Doesn't cost any stock. Probably run this in every deck. There's a reason why it's a double R, so probably like a 4.
Next up, we got this Elizabeth Druid Priest. She's a Druid, dude. I played Druid in Hearthstone. That's pretty lit. During your turn, if you have another Britannia character, it gets plus 1500 power. When this card attacks, if incredible power, the choice climax pictured on the right of the card, is in your climax area, and you have another Britannia character, put the top 2 cards of your deck into waiting room. Mandatory ability, by the way. Choose up to 1 level X or lower Britannia character in your waiting room and return it to hand. X is equal to the total level of the cards put into waiting room by this effect.
Has the blood is awakened, dude. We typically call this kind of effect cigarette. So exclamation point cigarettes for the effect. Are you gonna do that, UA?
Sure.
But basically, this is a costless salvage climax combo. It doesn't need a reverse, which is nice. Selectivity a little random, which some people may not like, but I think overall it's a solid level 1 climax combo. I don't know. I think I would probably. This is a nice trigger. I think I'll give this a 4. It's fairly sizable too. So definitely, consider playing this if you're running enough yellow for it.
All right. Sounds good. Mandatory though. I've lost games because of the mandatory.
That's true. I mean, something you have to keep in mind. Skill diff, skill testing, dude.
Next up, we got this 3/2 Meliotis. Very exciting card during spoiler season. If all your characters are Britannia, this card gets 2000 power. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you may put the top card of your clock into waiting room. Heal. And when full counter, the choice climax pictured is placed in your climax area. If you have 4 or more other Britannia characters, this card gets plus 1000 power and the following ability until the end of your opponent's next turn. So when the character facing this card attacks, you may pay the cost, which is to pay 1. If you do, deal 2 damage to your opponent on their turn.
This gets the power too, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of people were excited for this card. The potential of this card. Just generic things out of the way. It's 11k healer, pretty nice. And the finishing effect, it's pretty potent. I gotta say, burning 2 on your opponent's turn, pretty significant if that lands, because you're operating with a pretty sizable damage buffer to work with, right? They're at 3/0 and they take damage from this card. If you have multiples that all hits, they're at 3/4 or something. Super easy to go for the kill. And on top of that, there are some other really cool synergies they have printed alongside this card to be used. But as far as this card by itself, I think this is totally. I want to say you would be buying this set for this card, buying into the set for this card. It's honestly good enough to give it a 5, in my opinion. I think it's quite a unique and powerful effect that no other English deck really takes advantage of in this way. Most examples we see of this card are kind of lacking in some way. I don't think this card really lacks in the important things, which is power and the fact that it heals. And of course, the combo is on a good trigger that you like to be running. Mm-hmm. So that being said, yeah, totally 5.
Yeah, I think most 7 Deadly people remember this from spoiler season. It is definitely, I think, 5 worthy. It is the card to remember and the card to be playing around if you're playing against the deck. So next up, we're into rare territory now. Arthur, when this card attacks, look at up to 2 cards from the top of your deck. Choose one card from among them, put it on top of your deck. Put the rest into waiting room. Secondary ability, which works well with the first ability. When this card attacks, if you have 1 or less other character, you may put the top card of your deck into waiting room. That card is a level 0 or lower character. Put it on any position on your backstage. So it works well because you're looking at the 2 cards you're triggering. Then you can probably set up a Wait, I don't even know if that works well, actually. Do you...
It's all right. I mean, we've seen this exact profile printed quite often, actually, in the Japanese game.
Yeah.
It does work. It does work. However, I have to say, you know, there are probably better plussing options you could run than this. You know, we just saw a clean cut. I assume if there's an oversize or a runner, that's good. You'd run those instead of this. So really, it really depends on how important the first effect is. I think, you know, how much mileage you get out of that card. And I gotta say, I mean, there's probably better cards you'd be running. This is fine, but you know, I think this probably does not go higher than a 2, mainly because half of this card's utility is kind of replicated in better cards that you could be running at level 0. If you really like the first effect, I could see playing a few, but you know, other than that, this is like a fine card, but nothing too special. Yeah.
Who it is on this card. Next up, Meliotis Hypnotized. This card's on your stage. It gains Holy Nitrate. Very relevant text, apparently. I actually got a power demerit for this text, by the way. Pay 1, put a Britannia character from your hand into your waiting room. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you may pay the cost. If you do, look at up to 4 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 1 card, so not limited to character. Put it into your hand and put the rest into your waiting room.
Right. So, Holy Knight, pretty interesting. I wonder if we're going to see some synergy for that. Are you serious that it lost power for this?
Yeah,
I don't know if it did. I don't think it did.
But
But I think Kazuma is 1k power too. So the second effect though, not as popular as it was when it first started getting printed, at least in the Japanese game. I'm sure it'll probably be the case here. That being said, you know, it's a solid stock out, okay discard outlet. Checking out 4 is nice if there's a climax you need, but you know, I think there are cards like climax swappers that people would rather be running. I'm not sure who. I would have to. I don't know if you would play this card. All things considered.
You want to give it a 1?
I think I do want to give it a 1. Yeah.
Tickle, tickle. 1 it is. All right. Next up, we got this Hawk Passion for Scraps. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, put the top 2 cards of your deck into your waiting room. If there is a climax among those cards, choose one of your characters, and that character gets plus 1500 power until end of the turn. Second ability, pay 1, put the top card of your deck into your clock. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one level 1 or lower character in your waiting room and return it to hand.
Not bad. You know, this is what we call a salvage Ricky. Exclamation point Ricky. Pretty good, you know, costed plussing effect. Keep up your hand at level 0, fuel the tri-field, get what you need from your waiting room. And on top of that, it mills, you know, with a pretty decent payoff. So it keeps a bit of utility throughout the game. Also gives you more targets when you play it. Unfortunately, you know, Salvage Ricky, not the greatest Ricky effect in the world. I think I would probably give this a 2. This is playable, but you know, be on the lookout for better options, I think.
All right, 2 it is. 2 it is. It has an SP print, by the way. Just let you guys know.
The pig has an SP.
Yeah.
That's
Next up.
Is he a popular character or something?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Next up, we got this 1/1 Elizabeth Breaking the Spell. Pay 1 at the beginning of your opponent's attack phase. You may pay the cost. If you do, choose this card and one of your Britannia characters, exchange them and stand them. Second ability, when this card becomes reversed, if the level of this card's battle opponent is higher than your opponent's level, you may put that character into your opponent's stock. If you do, put the bottom card of your opponent's stock into waiting room.
Wow. You know, people who play Dow, you know this card, love this card. Unfortunately, can this set play an 8 standby deck?
No, there's only 4.
That's quite unfortunate. So I mean, this is still an anti-change bomb, like a removal anti-change bomb, what we call an Adachi, exclamation point Adachi. But unfortunately, without eight, like unless you're playing 8 standby, this card isn't going to be as powerful as the Yoshino from Dal. So I struggle to give this more than a 2, mainly because I don't think the field swap effect is going to be very relevant. But I'm totally prepared for someone to prove me wrong with like a 4 standby brew. So
Yeah, prove him wrong.
still a fine card, but I think just a 2.
Fair enough. Next up, 2-1. Elizabeth sacrificing herself. I just realized I could read the names, so I am going to read the names. All of your other Meliotis to the rescue, so the double R we saw earlier, the 3/2, get plus 1000 power and the following 2 abilities. This card cannot be chosen by your opponent's card effects, and during this card's battle, you cannot receive damage by auto effects of your opponent's characters. So burns are mainly one of the damage that come from auto effects. And then it is a 2000 power assist to level 3 or higher characters. Second half of this Meliotis package, basically.
Yes, and I alluded to this earlier when we were talking about the Meliotis pictured. So this is pretty cracked synergy. Like, it's just custom printed to work with the level 3. So the level 3 in question, the Meliotis becomes 11, 12,
15,
14, 15, 15k immediately when you do the Connex combo with this card behind the Meliotis. And it gives it, a cornucopia of various effects that really synergize well with the card's purpose, which is to stay on the field until your opponent's attack phase, right? Can't be bounced unless you get rid of this Elizabeth first. And on top of that, you have a really powerful effect, anti-burn. There is a set in the Japanese game called Charlotte that attained quite the notoriety because of this extremely uniquely powerful effect. I think we have to consider this as a package along with Melios, but of course you can also play it alongside any other level 3 because it's a 2k level assist to any level 3, so it'll work with any early plays you choose to run. But I think in conjunction with the Meliotis, this also deserves a 5. It is a card you should. I mean, if you're playing the Meliotis, you obviously play this card. So it's hard for me to give it anything less than a 5 because I gave the Meliotis a 5. So pretty solid card. Self-sacrifice has evolved since the old days.
Okay. All right, sounds good. 5 it is. We got 2 5s in this set, more than a lot of sets. Next up we got Meliotis Ultimate Blow. This card gets 500 power
Why
for
did you
each of your
repeat that?
other Britannia characters.
Are you okay?
Dude, it's the ultimate blow, bro. Like,
Yeah, he's hitting someone clearly. I don't know why you're putting so much emphasis on the last word there.
I didn't do anything. It's you, bro. I didn't say anything. It's okay. Anyways, Meliotis Ultimate Blow. This card gets 500 power for each of your other Britannia characters. When this card is placed on stage from hand, search your deck for a Britannia character, reveal it to your opponent, and put it into your hand. Shuffle afterwards. Put 2 cards from your hand into your waiting room during this card's battle. When the damage you receive is not cancelled, and you have 2 or more other Britannia characters, you may pay the cost to dish 2 if you do deal the same damage back to your opponent.
Right. So this is like a pretty, a bunch of interesting effects, good effects. This is 11k, which is a solid power line. And it searches, which is like, we've seen, on-play search effects for level 3s and other sets. It usually gives like a aspect of a toolboxing element to like a dex level 3 game, which could be pretty good. There you can search for a counter late game. You can search for, another like a comics combo Meliotis or the Elizabeth if you missed that. So, decent effects all around. And then the final effect, this guarantees that this kind of maintains relevance, right, as a card to play late game. Notably, this works only when they're attacking you, which kind of fits into the theme of Meliotis, I guess, because the other Meliotis also works during your opponent's attack phase. That being said, it's just an okay effect, I think. The fact that it doesn't cost stock is nice because it gives you it means you can play this alongside the climax combo and you still have stock to use the Meliotis, and any other counters you might use. So overall, I think this is a pretty solid card. I want to give this a 4, actually. I think this is quite solid.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
4 it is. I've known you for all these years. You've been wrong many times, but it's okay to be wrong sometimes, Tom. Anyways, next up we have this Elizabeth, Courage and Determination. If this card is in the middle position of your center stage, it gets +1 soul. Second ability, pay 1, put a card from your hand into your waiting room. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you may pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for up to 1 Britannia character, reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle your deck afterwards. Drop search, soul and center. We've seen this so many times. Keep it simple. What do you think of a card like this?
It was like a 2.
I don't know. Dude, it's so annoying getting hit by that extra soul though.
That's true. It can be pretty impactful. Is that blood on the card? Like, I don't know.
Dude, I'm scared.
Seems like
I hope it's not from the scan. I hope it's the card. That'd be awkward.
Blood on this.
Next up, Elizabeth, instant answer. All of your opponent's characters get auto encore pay 2. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you may choose 1 card in your hand and put it into your stock.
So this is like an oversize that also happens to do something else when you play it. The second effect is not bad. Converting hand freely into stock is, kind of powerful. That being said, this isn't a great oversize, so I think it's probably just peaking at a 2. If people really like this good effect, sure, but I think there are probably better options out there for you, even though this is still playable.
Sounds good. Next up, we got Meliotis, Unrepentant. During your turn, if you have 2 or more other Britannia characters, this card gets 2,000 power. When this card is placed on stage from hand, choose 1 of your other Britannia characters, and that character gets 2,000 power until end of the turn.
The Shimakai that attacks at 6k, essentially. It's not bad. If you need the power, this will attack sizably as well, which is nice. Sometimes vanilla Shimakais attack at 5k. Probably just a 2. Power's nice. Not the greatest thing in the world, though.
Next up, 1/1 Arthur, Provoking the Enemy. If you have 2 or more other Britannia characters, this card gets 1,500 power and auto encore. Put a character from your hand into your waiting room. Second ability, when this card is placed on stage from hand, if you have 4 or more other Britannia characters, you may choose a Britannia character in your waiting room and put it into your stock.
The 1. It's only 6k.
Pretty bad. Yeah, pretty bad. Ooh. Next up, 2/1 Elizabeth, a new dress. Nice. When pay 2, when you use this card's backup, you may pay the cost. If you do, return all cards from your waiting room to your deck and shuffle your deck. You might hear me say this a lot. I call this free fresh. It's a 2,500 power backup.
Yeah, I mean, so there are a few other decks with this effect. Kaguya is one of them. Notably, though, Kaguya plays this in a standby list. That kind of takes advantage of the fact that you're winning board. This deck, unfortunately, cannot play for a similar game plan. That being said, this is still fine. Notably, I think people have been talking about playing it with the Meliotis as a counter option. Which does work, but it's not the greatest synergy, I think. This costs a lot of stock, so it's hard for me to see how you're gonna be able to pay for all of this. during your opponent's turn,
Mm-hmm.
right? 3 stock for this, 1 stock for Meliotis. So probably just 2, unfortunately, is a functional counter, but I think definitely gonna be some struggle buses trying to get this to work all together with the Meliotis.
Sure, 2 it is. Next up, we got this 2/1 Piggy Hawk Confusion. Pay 2, tap one of your standing Britannia characters. When this card is placed on stage from hand, you may pay the cost. If you do, your opponent chooses 1 climax in their waiting room, return all cards from their waiting room except that card to the deck and shuffle their deck. Fumio is the jargon for
Right.
this?
Yes. Exclamation point Fumio. 1 climax. Costs as much as a level 3, but is not a level 3. But in return, you get to play this level 2. It's a powerful effect, but I gotta say, this has you usually prefer stock swaps, a little earlier than level 3. But I think for Fumio, it's fine to have it as a level 3. I don't know if anybody was asking to play this at level 2, to be quite honest. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Probably just a 2. Um, I think. Because it's still a powerful effect, but as a 2-1, it is probably slightly worse than as a 3-2.
I'm foil, by the way, guys.
The pig just getting all the
Yeah, the pig getting the
oh my
special
god.
treatment. Speaking
Sure.
of coming foil, oh boy, this foil is something
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
But Elizabeth, options for disguise. If your waiting room has 2 or less climaxes, this card gets -1 level in your hand. And when this card is placed on stage from hand, you may look at up to X cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 1 card from among them, and put it into your hand. Put the rest into waiting room.
Mhm.
X equals the number of Britannia characters you have.
Pretty generic. A decent option if you need the ability to get climaxes or events off the top of your deck in the late game. The condition is not the greatest either, and it's kind of small as an early play, so probably not the greatest as an early play. So this probably peaks at a 2. I think it's it is just a solid 2. It's playable, has a role, and nothing too special.
All right, next up, we got this Hawk mode of transportation. All of your characters in front of this card get 500 power. Sorry. Tap 2 of your characters, choose 1 of your characters, and that character gets the following ability until the end of the turn. When this card's battle opponent is reversed, you may put the top card of your deck into stock.
We have seen the second effect kind of, previously, giving something a removal effect on board is nice and powerful.
This is a charged stock.
Wait, is a stock charge? I'm so sorry. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. Okay, so this is like an interesting way, interesting. You could, use this to try and build the resources for, the ideal late game plan with the Meliotis and the refresh counter. Unfortunately, just being an assist is not that great. So probably just a 2. This is a stock charging resource. It's possibly the centerpiece of a resource game plan, like resource generating game plan, but um, it's just okay.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Next up is Elizabeth. Backup plan. When this card is placed on stage from hand, choose 1 of your characters, and that character gets 1,000 power until the end of the turn. Pay 1, put this card into your waiting room. Look it up to 4 cards on the top of your deck. Choose up to 1 Britannia character from among them. Reveal it to your opponent. Put it into your hand and put the rest into your waiting room. Tom, I must ask, would you play this or Chiuri? Okay, I'm joking. Joke.
Okay, I mean, like, bro, where's the second standby? They have all these cards that are supposed to be in standby decks, but they don't have 2 standbys. I honestly, I think I think this card is quite good in standby lists when field slots are important. Unfortunately, this is probably not better than a cheery exclamation point cheery effect in like a global soul or 4 standby deck. So I really struggle to find a place for this. I think I would probably giving this a 1. I don't think you should be playing this card.
Okay. Fair enough. Next up, a little bit of a synergy situation. If you have another ban reunion, pictured in the right, this card gets 3,000 power. The band is a little bit small, but you guys can read it on the screen. Effect
It is really small.
The effect is like, I think it's just 6K with hand encore.
Oh, 6.5.
With
I
hand
see.
encore.
I think we've moved past these kind of printed synergies where we play like 2 big 1-0s on the board. I will probably just a 1.
Sure.
I just don't see useless. Budget card probably.
Next up, we got Hawk Traveling Peddler. When this card is placed on stage from hand, this card gets plus X power until the end of the turn. X equals the number of Britannia characters you have times 500. When this card becomes reversed in battle, you cannot use auto encore abilities until the end of the turn.
It's just a slightly, what is it, 500 power bigger? Yeah, than a normal glass cannon type effect. So it gets, it's what, 8K?
Yeah, 8K.
On play? It's
8K
not bad.
Tap.
If you need it, you need it. 8K is actually quite decent, in a meta where you're playing against standby decks that are running 1/175s. This is a costless way to deal with all of those, and since this is not a standby deck by itself, solid option. I think it's a 2.
Oh, holy! I've never seen this kind of card get a 2 these days. All right,
I think it's a 2.
fine.
I mean, the power is honestly, not bad.
All right, fair enough. Next up, we got this 2/1 Meliotis, mysterious marks. This card cannot side attack, and when this card attacks with the character facing this card is level 3 or higher, it gets 6K until the end of the turn.
14K power. Is this big enough to beat Shirogane? I think so. Assuming Shirogane has no assists. Yeah, this is a solid, level 3 killing option. I think just like a 2. If you need this card, and it attacks pretty big. So.
Oh. Whoa, this is fancy.
Whoa.
I got so confused. So this is a super flavorful wanted poster. There's 7 different arts for it. And all 7 arts have been scanned by Strictly Broken TCG, by the way. You can put up to 7 cards with the same card name as this card into your deck. If you do not have a Deadly Sin character, this card cannot be played from your hand. Look at up to 4 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 1 Deadly Sin character from among them and reveal it to your opponent. Put it into your hand and put the rest into your waiting room.
Torch, essentially.
7 torch.
Yeah, you can play up to 7. Yeah, that's true. It's extremely powerful in Goblin Slayer because the comics combo synergizes well with it. It literally grabs it from anywhere. I don't. Okay, well, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's a bond for this card. There's any way to grab it. I think the only way you could say you could grab this, be able to run 7 copies, means you'll draw more of it, but I'm not. It's a lot of slots, man. That being said, this is a solid effect. By itself, probably just a 2. With no synergies or anything. It's a solid effect, but it's not. It's just not a 4, unfortunately. I think, but it is a 2. Pretty decent effect.
By the way, everyone who ordered playsets from Strictly Broken TCG, you'll be receiving every single art for this card. I'm just letting you guys know. Hell yeah. Plug. Hey. Very rare I get to do this stuff, Tom, so I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's cool.
That's it for yellow, guys. Anyways, green.
I encourage. Let's go green. Yeah.
First card is this Gildunder. Magic Words. If there's a marker underneath this card gets 2,000 power. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is a Britannia character, you may put it face down underneath this card as a marker. Otherwise, you return it to its original place. Notably, it's a may, so you don't have to. And at the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, you may move this card to an open position of your center stage with a character facing this card.
We usually call these kinds of cards chasers. They run to a character. This is pretty good. I think of any oversized power condition, these marker ones are some of my favorite. I think they hold their, they obviously give a lot of power at level 0, but they continue to hold relevance in the late game past level 0 because they give you a free marker, leads to like a 5-card brainstorm of sorts. They give you trigger information if you choose to keep the trigger on top. So yeah, I think this is like a pretty good 3/5 costless chaser. Solid 4, like a pretty good 4. You should be playing this card, I think. It's very strange to me if you're not playing this card.
Chaser denies your clean cut, so it's actually anti-synergy if they want to. Just random point. If you chase and they crash.
Sure. But like, I mean,
I don't know if that matters. I'm just saying some random thing.
You still got a plus, dude.
Yeah, that's true. True. Next up, Dionne, cheerful. My favorite character, by the way, best girl. If you have 4 or more Britannia characters, this card gets -1 level from your hand. During your turn, if all your other characters are Britannia, it gets 2,000 power. Put 1 card from your hand into your waiting room. When this card is placed on stage from hand, you may pay the cost. If you do, put the top card of your clock into your stock. Aqua from Konosuba, very famously expensive English card. What do you think?
It's a 4. It's a pretty good early play. Good condition. Not much to say about it, other than the fact that you should be playing this probably. If you have any green at all, green that is enabled by the previous card, the chaser. So yeah, solid card.
Dude, this scene is never mind. It's the only scene I watched from 7 Deadly Sin.
What, the Dionne? The Dionne or?
Yeah, I don't want to go into it because I might look like a coomer. So I'm just gonna let's move on to the next card.
Okay.
When this card, King Wielder of Chastiful. When this card is placed on stage from hand, you may put the top card of your clock into your waiting room. Pay 1, put a card from your hand into your waiting room. When this card attacks, if versatile weapon is in your climax area, you may pay the cost. If you do, put the top 6 cards of your deck into your waiting room. Deal 1 damage to your opponent X times, and this card gets 2,000 power till the end of the turn. X equals the number of climaxes among those cards. The 2,000 power is 1 time, but the climaxes for each you can get burned an additional time. And the climax is pictured on the right. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, you were cooming all over this card when it got spoiled, mainly because of the similarity to another card you love so much, the Asuna from Alicization Volume 2, that is coming to English later this year. I don't know how to rate this card. I'm going to be completely honest. I think the Asuna is quite good, but this only mills 6. The Asuna mills 11, right?
Yes.
Right? Pretty huge significance. Really big difference between the two. That being said, it's really easy to play 3 of this. Mill 18. In which case it compares more favorably to that Asuna, which mills usually 20, 22 for that turn because you play 2. I don't know how good this will be though. It's nice that it heals, and that it's nice that it's on a good trigger for a finishing combo. So with all those things, considered, this is a solid card on, just looking at its base, stats. I think its base on its floor, right? Mm-hmm. I think I'll have to give this a 3. I don't know if this is going to be good.
Okay, sounds good. To give some context, I think what you want from an effect like this is to go through your whole deck, so then you can prep how many burns you get. Yeah. And so the question is now, is 18 going through your whole deck a lot of the time? Because 22 does, and I know it just sounds like only 4 cards, but just in terms of prep or thinking about because if you mill through your deck and you have 4 cards left, if you did hit all the climaxes and you didn't kill them, you're out now. You're 4 clean, right? And that's a problem with an effect like this.
That is
I'm just giving some context, but that is something I considered. 3 makes sense though. We don't know.
Especially because there's another pretty obviously good finisher that you could be running, which is the Meliotis. this has to be pretty effective, I think, but I'm not sure how often it will, be effective because it's it's a kind of like an interesting effect to evaluate. So I'm sure we'll see, in the coming months, people testing this card, I think. So 3 for now.
Next up, King at Oslo, away from the battle. When this card is placed on stage from hand, put the top 2 cards of your deck into your waiting room. If there is a climax among those cards, choose one of your characters from your opponent's center stage, and that character gets minus 1,000 power until the end of the turn. Put a climax from your hand to your waiting room. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one Britannia character in your waiting room and return it to hand.
This is a solid cost discard outlet. Mills for more targets, mills for utility. Solid too. It's a good discard outlet.
Sounds good. We should do that pose, bro. Alright, whatever. Moving on.
What pose? Or sit on our chairs?
Dude, you can be on my shoulder.
Oh, you mean like... Okay, but you're the wolf.
Wait, okay, whatever. Cringe. Next up, King for a special someone. Whoever that special someone may be. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, look it up to 2 cards from the top of your deck and put them back on top of your deck in any order. Pay 1, put a climax from your hand into your waiting room when this card is placed on stage from your hand. You may pay the cost. If you do, choose a climax in your waiting room and return it to your hand.
I think that special someone is Dionne. Is this guy you? He is you. All right.
Cringe.
At a base level, this is a climax swapper, which is solid. This is a pretty consistent way to get the climax you want, because it means if you draw the wrong climax, you just play this and you get the right climax if it's in your waiting room, which it probably will be. And the first effect is, it's all right. It's fine.
This is how you...
It's honestly more than fine. It's pretty good. But yeah, solid card. 2?
This is how you pretend like you have 8 standby, by the way. You just play 4 of this card.
Oh, yeah?
And then you check 2. If you see standby, you don't swap. But if you don't see standby, you swap out the whatever trigger you play for the standby. You get it? Play it. Dude, this is how you pretend like you have 8 standby. It is the play. Trust. 4 of this card, pretend 8 standby. Just close your eyes.
I'm looking forward to seeing you test this idea. I'm sure it'll work out.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Next up, we got Dionne, childhood. Not into that at all. When this card is placed on stage. Wait, I'm just being clear. Like, dude, I'm Dionne. 20 years later, I'm down. When this card is placed on stage from hand, this card gets plus 1,500 power until end of the turn. And then when this card attacks, if you have 2 or more other Britannia characters and the character facing this card is level 2, this card gets 6,000 power until the end of the turn.
Right. Pretty simple. It does what it says. No conditions to meet, really. No real conditions. So it'll attack at 12k against the level 2, which is relevant because we have a pretty good standby deck in the meta that plays level 2s at level 1 and beyond. So yeah, just 2. If you need this card.
Yeah. Next up, Dionne, whirling her hair. Assist all of your characters in front of this card get X power. X is equal to that character's level times 500. You may rest this card to choose one of your Britannia characters. That character gets 500 power until the end of the turn. And when this card's battle opponent is reversed, you may put the top card of your opponent's clock into their waiting room. If you do, put that character into your opponent's clock.
Right. So this second effect is pretty good, pretty powerful. Border removal is very relevant, especially level 2. We have Slime, being the premier deck that runs Hand on Core early plays, as well as Konosuba, which also has a Hand on Core early play. Konosuba also has this kind of card, by the way, which is kind of funny. This is a solid option if you're not running Meliotis. Nothing. I don't know if there's much else to say beyond that. Probably just a 2, but keep this in the back of your head if you're looking for like a meta edge. This is solid.
Sure. Next up, Gildunder, Smile of Relief. If you have 4 more other Britannia characters, it gets -1 level in the hand. Put a broken curse from your climax area into your waiting room. It is I believe,
Stock soul?
a level
Level 1 or lower stock soul.
level 1 or lower stock soul. When this card's battle opponent becomes reversed, you may pay the cost if you do. Look it up to 4 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 4 Britannia characters from among them. Reveal them to your opponent. Put them into your hand, and the rest into waiting room.
Not okay. I'm not a huge fan of combos like this. You're basically putting everything on one reverse, and you have to pay a stock for this card, and it's not that big. And sometimes the condition is hard. I've played Persona 5 enough to be wary of this kind of condition. This is not bad, but this is not good by any means. I think probably like a 2. Honestly, okay, yeah, like a 2. The plusing effect is like strong enough to like try and like test this card, but nothing more than that.
All right, next up, we got this Dionne, Wielder of Gideon. Pay 1 when this card is placed on stage from your hand. You may pay the cost if you do. Your opponent puts all cards in their stock into waiting room. It's the same number of cards from the top of their deck into stock. And then when your other Britannia character attacks, this card gets 1,000 power until the end of the turn.
Famous, well-known effect. Stock swap, exclamation point, stock swap. Not much else to say about this card beyond that. It'll attack at 12k as the last attacker, which is like fine. People have been expressing a bit of dislike for stock swaps that can only be played at level 3, understandably so, because it's a timing based effect. But this is still solid. You probably run this. Notably, this deck has access to both stock swap and Fumio in the same deck, which which is neat, but it costs a lot of stock, a lot of resources.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is a 2. This is fine. I'm interested in seeing if people will build lists that take advantage of stock swap Fumio. That'd be interesting to see. Why are they so big? Are they big? Are they like giants?
Yeah, she's a giant.
Why is Elizabeth so big? Is she a giant?
No, it's just perspective, bro.
How is that perspective?
Bro.
How's that perspective? She's literally. Wait.
I actually don't know, but.
All right.
No
time to watch the show, dude.
I'm down. Watch the show on stream. I'm down.
Giant women.
Sure. I'm down. Next up, we got what is this card? Dionne, Hypnotized. Shout outs to Biggie Smalls. If this card is on your stage, this card gets Holy Knight trait. Pay 1 for the top card of your deck into your clock. When this card is put into your waiting room from the stage, you may pay the cost. If you do, look it up to 2 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 2 Britannia characters from among them. Reveal them to your opponent, put them into your hand, and put the rest into your waiting room.
This is a very high ceiling plusing effect. Pretty credible chance to get 2 cards from the second effect. So this is a very effective trifield card. I would be surprised to see people not trying this out initially, because it's such a powerful effect. I think I want to give this I'll give this a 4. I think it's a very powerful, plusing effect, level 0.
You're just mad that there was that one time where I +6 off of an effect like this.
Okay, well, sure. Other people have hit both characters against me with this card. It's pretty powerful when it goes off like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is well worth including in like most lists, I think.
Okay. Sure. Biggie, can't you see? Sometimes your words just help. Never mind. Next up, we got this King, Unrecognizable. When you use this card's backup, if you have another Britannia character, choose one of your characters in battle, and that character gets 1,000 power. It's an 1,000 power backup. It's 2,000 power total. 2,000 power backup. Easy maths.
2.
All right.
2 for 2K.
Yeah. Quick maths. Next
Oh
up.
no.
What?
Oh no. This is a fetish card.
Dionne, convincing threat. During your turn, all of your other Britannia characters get 1,000 power. At the beginning of your climax phase, choose one of your Britannia characters, and it gets 1,000 power.
I mean, just look at that flavor text. This is like a, it's probably a 1.
Badge.
I think effects like this have lost their kind of luster. This is not a set that has enormous reward off reversing cards. Works well with the 2-1 combo, but like that's not going to be what people play, I think. So this is just a 1.
Next up, King, Incident of the Past. Oh, that's actually blood. When this card is placed on stage from your hand,
blood? That was blood in Elizabeth card then.
I think so.
Shit.
When this card is placed on stage from your hand, if you have another Britannia character, it gets 2,000 power until the end of the turn. When this card attacks, choose one of your other characters, and that character gets X power until the end of the turn. X equals that to that character's soul times 1,000.
Wasn't there a card?
Yeah, very similar.
It basically like this. We gave that a 2, right? I guess this gets a 2.
Like almost the same card.
It's like basically the same card. Shoot cards that attack at high powers are nice. I already said that before. I'll say it again, just real quickly. Yeah, this is like a 2. It's fine. Is this PG-13 though? That's a lot of blood.
Fine, bro. Just ketchup, bro. Just a ketchup, bro.
Yeah, just catch up. Yeah, okay, okay.
It's just
4 kids. The 4 kids. Yeah, this is 4 kids.
Incident of the Past, bro. He dropped his burger. Oh no, bro. Quite the incident.
someone's jacking his McDonald's. Dude.
Yeah, dude. Next up, Gildunder, negative little Gil. When this card is placed on stage from hand, look it up to 3 cards from the top of your deck and put them on top of your deck in any order. Choose up to one of your opponent's characters and return it to their hand. Put a character from your hand into your waiting room. When this card attacks, you may pay the cost. If you do, this card gets 2,000 power and plus 1 soul until the end of the turn.
Dude, someone called him Burger King.
Burger King.
Dude, Burger King, eat Burger King on stream next time. I'm down.
Oh, I love Burger King actually. No cap.
This is okay. This is like a bouncer. It's pretty relevant sometimes. Not all the time. This does not counter Meliotis, sadly, unless you play multiples. This is like a 2. Not much else to say. It's pretty obvious, I think, when you need this kind of card. So, if there's like something you need to remove, play this card.
Next up, Hellbram, actual form. At the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, choose one of your characters, and that character gets 500 power until the end of the turn. It's a pay 1 Thomas M, brainstorm, exclamation Thomas M. Flip over 4 cards from the top of your deck and put them into your waiting room. For each climax revealed among those cards, perform the following action. Search your deck for up to 1 Britannia character revealed to your opponent. Add to your hand, choose a card from your hand, and put it into waiting room. Shuffle your deck afterwards.
Right, so spammable, search brainstorm. This is first effect's just kind of not that great, unfortunately. I think it gives a 1. I don't see much use for this, unfortunately.
Fair enough. 1 it is. I'm down. But it is utility. I'm down for the 1. You're rating it that way. That's fine. Oh, Synergy.
I mean, we'll give it a 2. I mean, that's fine too. Give it a 2. Fine. Give it a 2.
I
don't wanna...
I usually don't press for a change, but come on, man. This card, there's no reason why people can't play a copy. It's on trait, Britannia and Holy Knight.
That's fair enough.
Doesn't have Deadly Sin trait though. All of your other, Margaret sacrificing herself. All of your other Gildunder, Smile of Relief get plus 1,000 power and the following ability. During this card's battle, your opponent cannot play events or backups from their hand, and it's a ditch bond for Gildunder, Smile of Relief.
as far as printed synergy enabling a combo, this is like pretty solid. This is the only reason why the Gil combo would be like would be playable essentially. Yeah, this is all right. I'll probably give it. Yeah, this interacts with the 2-1. Yeah. I think probably a 2, same as the Gil. And yeah, it's like fine. It's fine. It's like basically the only way the Gil could be playable. So, since we gave that a 2, this gets a 2 as well. So.
Sure. Next up, Dionne, tough giant. Put one last-minute save from your climax area from your into your waiting room at the beginning of your encore step. You may pay the cost if you do choose one Britannia character in your waiting room and return it to hand. Tap this card, choose one of your Britannia characters, and that character gets 1500 power until end of the turn.
Interesting. Not good, but interesting. This gets a 1, but points for trying, I guess.
This is how I can play bar choice in Seven Deadly
Oh
Sins.
yeah.
Yeah, this is how.
Oh yeah.
Dude.
Oh yeah.
You don't even know, bro. You
All
don't
right,
even know no leaks, but you don't even know, bro.
I'm looking forward to you topping, the online tournament this winter.
All right.
With this build.
Next up, whoa. King Breakdown. All of your other Britannia characters get 500 power. Tap this card, choose one of your characters, and that character gets the following ability until the end of the turn. And when this card's battle opponent becomes reversed, you may put the top card of your opponent's clock into their waiting room, and if you do, put that character into your opponent's clock.
Second effect is pretty useful. Getting to remove stuff starting at level 0. It being in global is just okay. Just a 2. This is like a pretty relevant. Again, you kind of know when you need this effect, right? If they have like cards that rely on being hand on court, you play this card. If they have cards that rely on being sent to the waiting room or getting reversed and going to some other zone, like notably, you can use this on Slime's level 1 combo, and it will not go to memory. So you'll know, pretty useful for against those kinds of cards. But ultimately just a 2 because it doesn't do anything spectacular outside that. He's just devastated from the loss of his burger, man. all that like dried ketchup on his face.
Yeah, true. Veronica sacrificing herself. Whoa. Put this card into your waiting room when your other characters with Elizabeth and its card name is put into your waiting room from the stage. This card is in the backstage. You may pay the cost. If you do, return that character to its previous position as rest.
Wow. Spoilers? I'm sorry for all you people that were looking forward to watching Seven Deadly Sins. Is there... This obviously requires, a worthwhile Elizabeth to save. I'm not sure if that exists. You could save a level 1 combo. You could save the TD level 3. I'm not sure that there's any other card you'd want to save with this card. It's like okay.
Too niche, bro. Too niche.
It is. Yeah, it is too niche, right? It just saves Elizabeth. Unfortunately, probably just a 1 then. Imagine if it saved Meliotis, dude.
I mean, I think you prefer if your Meliotis doesn't die, but I'm down. That'd be interesting. Imagine if this gave Meliotis Musashi, bro. Very good. Anyways, Gria Moore, loyal bodyguard. Assist all of your characters in front of this card get 500 power. Tap this to choose one of your Britannia characters, and it gets 1000 power until the end of the turn. Tap this, choose one of your opponent's backstage with a level higher than your opponent's level characters, and that character cannot stand during your opponent's next stand phase.
Anti-standby card. Uh, unfortunately, it's a 1/0, so you have to be playing green level 1, which limits its effectiveness, I think, a little bit, because as far as I know, there aren't like a lot of great reasons to play green level 1. This is okay. Is it that good though? I don't think. Probably just a 1, I think.
1, sure, that's fine.
Yeah.
I think this card.
It could be good, man. I don't know, man. Maybe this is a 3. It has like enough. I'm sorry, maybe a 2. Sorry, give it a 2.
2, sure, sounds good.
Yeah.
It's nice that it doesn't suck when you're not playing against standby. It still does something.
That's true. Yeah, it like does something. Yeah, I think the tap for 1k power is like decent enough.
All right.
This is like an okay tech for the standby matchups.
Next up, Hellbram, last request to a friend. When this card's battle opponent when this card becomes reverse, sorry, not its battle opponent. If this card's battle opponent is cost 0 or lower, you may put the top card of your opponent's clock into their waiting room. And if you do put that character into your opponent's clock, press 2 of your characters to choose one of your Britannia characters, and that character gets 2,000 power until end of the turn.
It's cost 0 bomb, which unfortunately is not as relevant at the moment as it was. The second effect is neat, but pretty situational since you have to rest 2 characters. I'm fine giving this a 2. Because I don't think cost 0 bombs are bad. It's just I think this is a 2.
Sure.
The power effect can be quite useful on occasion.
Next up, we got this 1/0 Bartra, Benevolent Ruler. All of your other characters get the following ability. This card cannot side attack. Put a card from your hand into your waiting room. When this card attacks, you may pay the cost if you choose one of your other Britannia characters and return it to the hand.
Is there nothing I'm missing? I don't think there's anything like too obscene you can do with this card, unfortunately.
No.
There's a reason why we don't see this card played that much. It's because opening a slot for your opponent is not the greatest, and bouncing a crash card, it's also not not that great either. There's no like super broken on play effects you could loop with this card, so probably just like a 1, I think.
Next up, this 2/1 Dionne, Cowering. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, this card gets X power until the end of the turn. X equals to the number of Britannia characters you have times 1,000, peaking at 12,000 if played last. And when this card is level 2 or higher, battle opponent becomes reverse, you may put the top card of your deck into your stock.
12k on play. I don't think. Let me think, actually.
Well, 11k a lot of the time because you want to play your
yeah,
last.
of course.
Yeah.
So, this is all right. I mean, I guess this is a 2. I'll give this a 1. It's just not big enough, I think, most of the time to be a credible level 2 threat, and it definitely does not get big enough to be counter safe against any level 2 or higher target you'd want to reverse with this card. And at the end of the day, it's just refunding the stock you paid to play this card, so it's not like a huge ceiling, unfortunately. Yeah.
Next up, King, Presentable Appearance. When this card attacks, choose one of your other Britannia characters, and that character gets X power until the end of the turn. X equals the number of Britannia characters you have times 500. And it is a encore. Put a Britannia character from your hand into your waiting room. So they're not. Yeah, it's hand encore.
I guess this is a 1. You have so why there's so many power pumpers in this set.
Yeah.
Yeah. 25 is it? 2500 power pump? Yeah, it's not good enough. For
next up, if you so this 3-1 event, Goddess Amber. If you do not have a Britannia character, this card cannot be played from your hand. Ooh. Choose one of your opponent's level 3 or lower characters and put it into their memory.
Ooh. Mega hard removal. They cannot encore this. They can't get it back either. Like, if they wanted to say you do this to a Kurumi, they can't get it back. They're not going to be able to play, like, get that same copy back to play again. This also notably can target back row as well. So, in the mirror, someone noted, this can be, the big difference maker. If you have this card and your opponent does not. I think this is interesting. I think it's pretty cheap. It's an event, so it might be a little hard to get at level 3 unless you run, more than like a few copies, which you may or may not want to do. But I think this is a powerful enough utility at level 0 to consider playing, because the memory, is like barely relevant at level 3 at that point. Like, because what benefits are they gonna have, from getting like +1 memory at that point? So this is definitely worth testing. It's a super unique removal effect that bypasses encore, that prevents your opponent from playing their most powerful cards again. So I think I want to give this a 3. I'm not sure how good this card is gonna be. I think on the surface it's a very powerful removal effect, but I'm not sure if that is strong enough to justify running multiples of this card for you to draw at level 3.
I think when I look at this card, and I haven't played a game of 7 Deadly Sins yet, right? I have not touched the deck, but I want to fit 4 of this in everything I play that can play green, because of the fact that it can target back row. It's actually very valuable, because you see this Meliotis 3-2, and you're like, okay, I kind of want to play long. They can't burn, so I can play kind of longer if I have good compression. And starting to pick apart their cards. If your opponent only plays like 2 brainstorms in their deck, 3 brainstorms, if you like do 2 of these, they don't have any more brainstorms to play with. They trigger one early.
That's true.
And
yeah, but unfortunately, it can only be played level 3, so I'm not sure.
but I mean, like, if you're grind, like they can't burn. So depending on how compressed you are, you might never take damage.
Yeah. So like, brainstorms are like a valid target. I think stuff like assists that have like really good effects. So like example being like the Amelia assist from ReZero.
Yeah, for sure.
Or the Sakura in Fate. Those are like extremely good cards to just remove from the game, basically, for the rest of the game.
Yes.
So yeah, I agree with you. This is like a super. It synergizes pretty well with the Meliotis. It's a very unique. Do you think this deserves a 5? I feel like it's hard to say.
I don't know if it's played, but I'm just saying in my head.
Okay.
I want to play 4 in every deck, because this is like the control card. Like, this is like the
right.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I like
you
playing
love,
that way.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
This will be interesting to see if people kind of take this card and run with it. Sounds quite annoying to play against. I have to say.
Dude, if this was bondable, it'd be so cracked. I would think 7 Deadly Sins is the best deck. Like, if this was just bondable, bro, like, imagine you just
right.
Holy.
It's so good when you're ahead. It's so good in like any situation, essentially. Like, if your opponent's ahead and trying to play for board, this basically destroys that game plan. You can just like dismantle their back row. You can dismantle their key cards that like make their board work. Yeah. I hope to see this card a lot,
Mhm.
but I'm not sure if it'll be good in the end.
And that's it for green. And let's do red.
Yeah, let's go.
So moving straight into red. First card we got Merlin, surprise reveal. Your other Britannia character in the middle position of your center stage gets 500 power. Pay 1, tap this card, flip over the top 4 cards of your deck, put them into the waiting room for each climax. Choose a character in your waiting room and return it to your hand. Brainstorm.
My favorite card profile, according to UA. I might as well name it after myself. Ha ha ha. The first effect is not like super relevant, unfortunately. It's like just a small amount of power. But you know, top self salvage brainstorms are pretty good. Probably give this a 4. I don't see any reason not to run this. So
Yep. Next up, ban for a special someone. Is it Bond or ban? I don't know. It's probably Bond, to be honest.
Probably Bond.
Bond for a special someone. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, look at the top card of your deck, put it on top or into a waiting room. And when this card becomes reversed in battle, you may reveal up to 3 cards from the top of your deck. If you reveal 1 or more cards, choose up to 1 Britannia character from among them. Put it into your hand and put the rest into your waiting room. Choose a card in your hand and put it into your waiting room.
Right. So we call this on reverse Rize as shorthand. But this is a pretty decent, costless milling effect. First effect is also not bad. It's a surveil, guys. You forgot to say the word. Yeah. I think this is like a 2. It's solid. You probably play this, but it's not like amazing.
Surveil. What a stupid term. Dude, like everyone who says surveil, I said this once. If you say surveil and play Weiss, you're probably just trash at MTG and want to feel good about yourself.
Whoa, no flames, dude. No flames.
Dude, it's like
you're also trash at MTG, so.
Dude, I'm so good, bro. Okay.
Yeah, oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad. But I don't say surveil. If you have Elaine facing a demon. If you have 2 or more other Britannia characters, this card gets 1,000 power. When this card attacks, if Fountain of Youth is in your climax area and you have another Britannia character, look it up to 4 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 1 Britannia character from among them. Reveal it to your opponent. Put it into your hand and put the rest into your waiting room. It combos with the door pictured. She's drinking juice, guys. It's juice. Or something that isn't alcoholic, hopefully.
Right. I thought you were gonna make a different joke, but so very similar to, it's like a milling combo, not the greatest selection. It's very similar to the Amelia from ReZero, if you know that set, know that card. This is just like a fine. This is what do we give the man? I forgot what I give. It's blood. She's a vampire. Holy shit, that's kind of
Spicy.
Does this combos with a different card?
Yes, the door
right.
also combos.
Right. Yes, I remember. We gave the Elizabeth a 4, so I think I want to give this a 4 too. This is a very, very playable, like, good level 1 climax combo that you should consider running if you run red.
Notably, it's just 500 power bigger than the TD ones, and people tend to feel pretty. Here's the thing: this is a little bit of a fallacy here, right? Because people tend to rate the TD ones that are 500 smaller 2s. And this is just 500 larger, but now it's a 4. Whoa! But it does combo with another card. I don't know if that's factored into your rating.
That's a factor.
I'm down.
Well, you said flaccid. Interesting.
Fallacious. That's it. I did not say flaccid. Okay. Bond, ready to kill. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, choose one of your other Britannia characters, and that character gets X power. Until the end of the turn, X is equal to the number of your other Britannia characters that have characters you have times 500, and it is also a level 0 reverser bomb. Just this card is reversed, you may reverse the facing character of its level 0.
It's fine. Um, it's nice that the level 0 bomb because it does other stuff at level 0, then plays a power pump role after that. But nothing more than a 2.
Okay. Next up, Elaine, guarding the spring. When this card is placed on stage from hand, reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is a Britannia character, put it into your hand, choose a card from your hand, and put it into waiting room. Put one Britannia character from your hand into your waiting room. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you may pay the cost. What you do, draw a card.
So we saw this. We've seen this a few other times. Notably, people call it Arisu. Do we have a combo? I mean, it's like a it's a pretty decent costless discard outlet in a few ways. So, I think I just give this a 2, but this is possibly the costless discard outlet of choice. For any prospective deck builders. So,
Yeah.
just want to highlight that. But it's just a 2.
Whoa! I didn't know Tom got a card in Seven
What?
Deadly Sins.
How is that me? Is that just because he's saying now wear on my glasses?
Dude, I don't know. It's just the funniest art in the whole set. Like, this art is hilarious.
Okay.
Gildunder holding his head up. When this card is placed on stage from hand, put the top 2 cards of your deck into your waiting room, and this card gets X power until the end of the turn. X is equal to the number of Britannia characters among them times 1,000. And then pay 1, dish a card. When this card is placed on stage from hand, you may pay the cost. Choose a Britannia character from your waiting room, add it to hand. Choose one of your other Britannia characters and give it 1,000 power.
It's a pretty generic drop salvage. It's nice that it mills because it creates targets for itself. So, keep that in mind. But otherwise, it's fine. Decent drop salvager. 2? Yeah.
Next up, the Gildunder, Mind Manipulator. The character facing this card cannot move to another position of the stage. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, this card gets 1,500 power until end of the turn.
An anti-runner that is big. Wow. This is fine. It's obviously quite good against runners. That's like what it's made to beat. It also counters, chasers, funnily enough. So in the mirror or against Goblin Slayer, you kind of ruin their ability to control the board. Unfortunately, this doesn't do anything else past level 0, so probably caps it like a 2. It is a nice tech against decks that run runners.
Next up, we have Gildunder, True Identity. Don't be fooled.
What?
He is a man. Pay 1 when putting an end is placed on your climax area. If this card is in your center stage, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your other Britannia characters and stand it.
Not the biggest fan. I'm not the biggest fan of standby combos, and this is about as generic as it gets. You just pay 1 stock for the ability to use whatever you standbyed out earlier. I think this is a 1. Honestly, the standby is like more worth considering in your deck than this card probably, which is sad but true. So yeah, play standby, guys. If you're interested in running a 4 standby list, but don't run this card, I think.
Next up, Merlin, joining the party. This card gets 2,000 power for each character on your opponent's backstage. Pay 1 at the beginning of your encore step. If you do not have another character on your center stage, you may pay the cost. If you do, rest this card.
Right. Kind of like Liz, except controllable by your opponent, like the power level. This is a standby target, but is only available for a 4. I don't know. What do you think about this kind of thing? Would you? I think I'll rate this a 2, but like,
yeah, I think
this does not have a standby deck. It goes into like an 8 standby deck.
So the pay 1 encore archetype standby 2/2 is better. Sorry, not best, but when there is less standbys in the set.
Right.
Sword Art had 4 standbys for the longest time, and it appreciated this more because this is a kind of value. This is actually like value, right? When you encore this versus hand encore or no encore. So I think profile wise, it's fine for a 4 standby deck. Okay. It's the best kind of 2/2 they could have gotten. Yeah, 2 makes sense. So just target. You don't even probably run more than 2 copies of this. Anything else? We're good?
No, we're good. It's just 2.
Next up, Gildunder, Wielder of Harlot. Assist all of your Britannia characters in front of this card, get 2,000 power. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you may put the top card of your deck, top card of your clock into your waiting room. Sorry. And when this card is placed on stage from your hand, you may choose one face-up card in your opponent's memory, put it face down. If you do, at the end of the turn, that card face up.
Right. On the surface level, it is like a nice 2k assist that heals, which is, pretty decent. Third effect probably is less useful overall. I'm trying to think of, are there any relevant? I don't know if there's any relevant matchups that this is good for at the moment, apart from like Contai. You can like flip. You can you turn off recollection effects, right, with this kind of card for the turn.
I can think of like Adventure Time. If they have 2 remember yous, if you flip one down,
sure,
you minus 3k to their level 3s.
That's fair. That's fair.
Nothing too.
This only
crazy.
comes out at level 3 though.
Yeah.
So a little limited, I think. But apart from that, it's like a solid card. I probably give it to the 2 because it does good things if you run this card. But nothing more than that.
Next up, Merlin, superior skills. A little bit TOS art, but it's all good. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, choose up to 1 character with level equal to or lower than your level in your hand and put it on any position on your stage, and that character gets 2,000 power until the end of the turn. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, choose up to 1 of your opponent's characters, put it into memory, and your opponent puts that character from their memory on any position on their stage.
Right. This is like a blinker on a level 3, which is interesting, but probably not more than that. Probably give this a... There might be some cool stuff with this card, but I want to give it a 1, honestly, because I think Blink is not... Like, the comparison for this card is like a Konosuba, the Megamine, but that does, like, very powerful stuff.
So, Tom, I have a play for you.
Oh,
play
yeah?
the door, level 1 combo, right?
Okay.
The level 3 it combos with is an on-reverse finisher.
Okay.
So you play this card, you trigger second ability first. They have to choose, right?
Okay.
They put their character in the front row into the back to dodge your level 3 on-reverse finisher.
Okay.
But then you summon something else, and then you play the memory shooting green event, and then they lose hella value.
Okay, dude. Okay, dude.
Wait, that's sick.
I mean...
So you play, you play this. They put their character back because they want to dodge your on-reverse finisher, but you don't actually play. You just play something else random down, but then you shoot their character, and then you took out 2 of their cards.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I'm sorry.
Sad. 1 it is. Next up, Bond, fresh out of prison. If your stock is 2 or less, this card gets 1,500 power, so 3,500. And as a pay 1, put a character from your stage into your waiting room encore ability.
This is not as good as the Chaser, sadly. So I think the Encore is interesting, but it doesn't create enough of a niche for itself to be considered played over the Chaser, so probably just a 1.
Next up, we got Merlin, Hooded Magician. Scary. When you use this card's backup, reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is a Britannia character, put it into your hand. Choose a card from your hand, put it into waiting room, and it's a 2,000 power backup, 1/1.
Look at 2. Leaf counters are decent.
Bond, Rage.
Pretty relevant in choice, which is a relevant trigger for this set. So
True.
Not bad.
True. A choice with this, pretty solid. Okay. Anyways, Bond, Rage. Sick name. If you do not have another Britannia character, this card cannot stand during your stand phase. When this card attacks, if you have 2 or more other Britannia characters, choose one of your characters facing this card. Choose one character facing this card. Until the end of the turn, that character gets minus 1,000 power, and this card gets plus 1,000 power.
It's a 1.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Gildunder, Sinister Shadow. This card gets 500 power for each of your other Britannia characters, and it has Hand Encore. This is your 7/5, 1/1/7/5.
Yeah, for a 4 standby deck.
Yeah.
This is like it's still a 2, but like have to note that like getting this card out level 0 is just way more inconsistent than it would be for an 8 standby deck. Probably still run this though. It's just not the greatest.
Next up, Bond facing a demon. This is the card that combos with the climax that the double R also combos with. When this card is placed on stage from hand, drop to 2 cards, choose a card in your hand, put it into your waiting room. Pay 2 when this card's battle opponent becomes reversed. If Fountain of Youth, the climax, is in your climax area and you have 4 or more other Britannia characters, you may pay the cost. If you do, deal 3 damage to your opponent and put that character on top of your opponent's deck.
Slightly unfortunate ordering of effects. I think if it top decked first, that would be cooler.
Pretty cool.
For the card, it'd be better for the card probably. Pay 2 to burn 3 is like not bad. This also draws on play, which is nice because you get to get your climax more consistently. This is like a solid card. I honestly don't know if you run this though. If you do not run this level 1 combo, it's like a package deal, right?
Yes.
Unfortunately, this card is probably. I can see there's no reason not to play this card if you run the level 1 combo, but it's just like fine. I want to give this a 2, unfortunately.
Sure. Dude, I'm telling you, man, the plays are sick. Green event.
Bro, but like, what if you just use the green event to memory their back row, and then you just reverse it more easily with this card? This is also very small, by the way, this card itself. This doesn't get it power anyway.
Yeah.
You need to pump it with another back row card, which is why, part of the reason why I'm giving it a 2 is just...
no, that's why you summon it off of the Merlin, because it gets like 2,000 power, bro.
Okay, dude.
Dude. Like, I cannot express my genius enough right now.
Wow, okay, I can't wait to see you play this deck.
Dude, I can't wait to 7-0 you, bro.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, my 4 standby, 4-door deck.
For the 7 deadly sin.
Yeah.
Alright.
Next up, we got Armor Giant. All of your other Gildunder forcibly silenced get 500 power, just like how I'm forcibly silenced about my sick plays. And Hand Encore. This ability activates up to once per turn when your other Gildunder forcibly silenced is placed on stage from the hand. You may put the top card of your deck into your stock. Gildunder forcibly silence is a 2/1 8/5 vanilla, pictured on the right.
Oh, okay. There's a card combo in quintuplets, which is that's coming out in English this year, I think, maybe next year. That does this with like a 2/2 vanilla. Unfortunately, I think it being a 2/1 is just way worse. Even though it's like a 2/0 10k with Hand Encore, it's not the biggest. It's also not like that worth Hand Encoring over turns at level 2, unfortunately. So I think I gotta give this a 1. It's unfortunate, but yeah.
Next up, Gildunder, unassuming disguise. All of your other characters in front of this card get 500 power. Tap this to choose one of your Britannia characters, and that character gets 500 power until the end of your opponent's next turn.
Wow, 500 extra.
Yeah, dude.
500 extra power. Don't want to spend all that power in one place, huh? I think this is just a 1. It doesn't really do enough. I think the power increments are just too small to be effective.
Sure.
Yeah.
Next up, Bond Reunion, other half of the previous combo.
Oh, we gave this a 1, right? Let's
yeah.
give this a 1.
So this is
give it a 1.
6-5 with hand encore, and then we talked about the previous. It's a package deal. It's a package 1.
Imagine having to play this without the other 1-0, or vice versa.
At least it has hand encore, man.
Nice.
2-1 Bond. Put a card from your hand into your waiting room. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one Britannia character in your waiting room and return it to hand. When this card becomes reversed, if this card's battle opponent is level 2 or lower, you may reverse that character.
Wow, this guy is an S word. Low 2 bombs are kind of interesting because there are standby decks, but I feel like there are just better ways to remove those kinds of cards. Notably, the 1-0 we saw way earlier in green. It is cool that this is a salvage, like hand fix salvage on play. I think the first effect is good enough to make this a 2. You know, usually level 2 bombs are not worth considering, but the first effect is like pretty good. So
okay,
it's like fine enough.
Okay, and one more card that synergizes with the package of Door, Bond, and Elaine. Elaine left behind. All of your other Bond facing a demon get 1,000 power. All of your Britannia characters get 1,000 power. And tap this card to choose one of your characters, and that character gets 1,000 power. There's your power, Tom.
All right, so I eat my words. The Bond is big enough. Nice, nice. Clearly, there are some. I guess these characters are related in some way.
They make out on the foil climax.
Oh, but is Bond her brother?
I don't know, but they're making out on the foil climax, bro. I think they're lovers.
Okay.
But stepbrother would be okay. Stepbrother. Stepbrother.
I see. Oh, Japan. Yeah. Okay. You can't play that. I don't think you play this outside of in this deck with the Bond.
Mm-hmm.
So this probably gets a 2. So I talked about the Bond being a little small. This makes up for that weakness. But you have to have this card on the board, and it's like fine. You know. Your Bonds become what, 13k on attack? It's like pretty good. Yeah.
2.
It's fine. Yeah, 2. Maybe retroactively give Bond a 3, I guess. Because I guess I'm just not sure.
Trust in the Bond, guys. This is the deck. Vanilla. This is just there. We usually don't show vanillas, but you know, just gotta show the high res scans.
Oh my.
Yeah, looking mighty fine. Picasso right in front of me right here.
They're vampire siblings with forbidden love. All right, Japan.
All right. Time to dip.
Why did you just show the climaxes, dude?
I'm okay. 1-1 event, Trumpet of Cernunnos. Choose one of your Britannia characters, and that character gets 2,000 power and the following ability until the end of the turn. When this card's battle opponent becomes reversed, you may choose a character in your waiting room and return it to hand and put this card into your stock. There's 2,000 more power, Tom.
Wow, dude. On this 1-1 event that you cannot bond for.
Hell yeah.
So this card is like decent. You know, it like makes up the stock. Like no matter what, which is like all right. I don't want to give this a 1 because I think the power keep pumping power is like pretty nice if you're looking to reverse. 2k is a pretty significant power pump. A lot. So probably like a 2, but it's not like the greatest because I wish this were bondable basically, but it's not. It's all right though.
That's it for red, man. Let's get straight into blue. You ready?
Yeah.
You make me feel blue, Tom. I don't know. I just want to say something.
Okay.
Anyways, first card, Hendrickson, no longer human. Much like my enemies. This card.
Yeah.
This card gets 1,000 power for each character in your opponent's backstage. When this card is placed on stage from hand, look at up to 3 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 1 card from among them, put it into your hand, and put the rest into your waiting room. And a climax combo with the pants trigger, the gate trigger, the pants trigger. Someone just called me cringe and resubbed. My feelings are hurt.
Agreed.
Pay 1, put 2 cards from your hand into your waiting room. When this card attacks, if forbidden power is in your climax area, you may pay the cost. If you do, look at the top card of your opponent's deck, put it on top of their deck or in the waiting room, and then deal 4 damage to your opponent.
This is not the greatest. I think the cost is like really steep for a what is essentially a burn 3 because you get to confirm a clean card on top. This gets like a 2, I think. It's just not that good, sadly.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Mainly because of the cost. If it were cheaper, you know, I'm inclined to give this a higher score, like a 4 maybe. Because the rest of the card is like fine, but cost is like too high.
Next up, we got Hendrickson, Grandmaster. This is when he's still human. Pay 1, put the top card of your deck into your clock. When this card is placed on stage from hand, you may pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for up to 1 cost 0 or lower Britannia character with level equal to or lower than your level. Put it on any position of your stage. Shuffle your deck. When this card attacks, choose one of your characters, and that character gets 1,000 power until end of the turn.
Decent play with the clean cut, I think. Because it also pumps power, but unfortunately, you know, these kinds of like, I guess this is like another type of Ricky. There's like a bit of a cap on how useful these kinds of cards can be, because you know, the salvage Ricky can get anything. The green clocking plus, you know, can +2. So, oh yeah, and you don't get the on play. Yeah, it's okay. Never mind. It's not that good with the clean cut. Sag. I think this is a 2. It's like fine, but you know, yeah, it's just fine.
Fair enough. Next up, Guilo, switching, whatever, something switching sides.
Right.
When this card attacks, choose one of your other Britannia characters, and that character gets X power until the end of the turn. X is equal to the number of other Britannia characters you have times 500. When your opponent levels up, if new partnership, the book pictured on the right, is in your climax area, and this card is in your center stage, you may choose a character in your waiting room and return it to your hand.
This is a bad trigger. Combo is also not very good. Probably give this a 1. I don't think you should be running this.
Sag. Wait, how do you pronounce his name? It's
Gila, probably?
Gila, okay.
Nice. Thanks, Joey. She's one of those Brock type characters where her eyes are closed all the time.
I see.
And there's another combo with this card, though, I guess, but
we have to thank followers at the end of the stream. Now that it reminds me. Anyways, Hauser, switching sides. When this card attacks, if you have another Britannia character, this card gets 1,500 power until the end of the turn. When this card attacks, if the same climax is in your climax area and you have 2 or more other Britannia characters, reveal the top 2 cards of your deck. Your opponent chooses 1 character or event from among them and put it into your hand and put the rest into your waiting room.
Also not a great combo. I think this probably gets a 1 as well because the trigger is bad. Yeah, not a fan.
Hauser, Attracted. When this card is placed on stage from hand, reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is a Britannia character, this card's soul does not decrease by side attacking until the end of the turn. When this card becomes reversed in battle, if this card's battle opponent is level 0 or lower, you may put that character on the bottom of your opponent's deck.
Level 0 bomb. So the first effect has some utility against like specifically Dal, right? Like certain matchups where like crashing into a character is bad. That being said, this is also just it's just a level 0 bomb. This is like okay. I give this a 2 because the first effect is not bad. Removal bombs are also nice, but doesn't really elevate itself past the 2.
Dreyfus Repenting. When this card is placed on stage from hand, look at the top card of your deck and put it on top or the bottom of your deck. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, choose one of your Britannia characters. That character gets 1500 power until the end of the turn.
It's weird. There are a lot of power pumps you could run that are not this card. Is the Scry good enough? I could be. It's less power. Yeah, I mean, like, this is probably just a 1. Give it a 2. The Scry effect is fine. It's like fine. This card is just fine. Give it a 2. I'm fine with that.
I'm gonna get a copy of this card, and when I destroy people at locals or BCSs, I'm just gonna point them to the flavor text.
This will be your favorite.
Yeah, like I'll just throw this at them. So like I'll beat them, I'll destroy them in Swiss, and then I'll throw the card at them and say I am so sorry.
You're like like Kaiba or Duke Devlin, just throwing the fucking sure, dude.
Yeah.
Nice one, dude.
Next card, Jodan, guys. It's just a Jodan. Got a Gila, spending time at home. If you have 5 or more cards, if your hand has 5 or more cards, this card gets 2000 power. Put this card into your waiting room. When your other Britannia character is frontal attacked, you may pay the cost if you do choose one of your characters in battle, and that character gets 1000 power until the end of the turn.
Another just okay oversized. It's interesting. Oversizes are neat because, well, this card being oversized is neat because being a field counter is pretty relevant when it's like when you take it into level 1, right? You get to like get some value out of this card living until level 1. That being said, wonky power is not a huge amount. Your cards on defense are probably not going to be that big in the first place at level 1, unless you're playing like a 4 standby list where you get kind of lucky and you have a bunch of 1/1s. This is fine. I think it's a 2.
I think at level 0 with presenting multiples of these could be very challenging for your opponent to kill both, right? Because like
yes, that is true, but like bombs kind of solve it, right?
Yes, that is true.
Bombs kind of solve it, like removal bombs especially.
Oh, that's a fatty eighth, bro. If they have
right,
removal.
there are some weaknesses here. I just don't think this is as good as the Chaser, so it's like kind of hard to.
Fair.
Yeah. Someone mentioning some printed synergy. We'll discuss that, I guess, when it comes up. But
Brainstorm. At the beginning of your climax phase, choose one of your characters, and that character gets 500 power until the end of the turn. This is Jericho, hungry for revenge, by the way. Brainstorm, pay 1, tap 2 of your characters. Exclamation Thomas M for the jargon. Flip over 5 cards from the top of your deck and put them into your waiting room. Reach new partnership or forbidden love, the 2 climaxes we saw prior that comboed with cards. Revealed among those cards, search your deck for up to 1 Britannia character. Reveal to your opponent, put into your hand shuffle your deck afterwards. Notably, it mills 5. That's the key thing here for having like a specific climax spread.
The probable payoff for running these subpar climax combos, I probably give this a 3 because I'm not sure. As mostly confident I am that this card is not going to make running those cards worth it, still want to give it the benefit of the doubt because it is a powerful effect. So it's a 3, yeah.
Sure. Next up, Dale. Final moments. When this card is placed on stage from hand, reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is a Britannia character, choose one of your characters and that character gets 2000 power until the end of the turn. When this card becomes reversed, if this card's battle opponent is a cost 0 or lower, you may put that character on the bottom of your opponent's deck.
Wait. Oh, it's level 1. Sorry, I was confused. Okay. Wait, this makes the green card look so bad. Okay, well, I mean, this is like a 2. Power pump is a decent utility to have, and like removal bombs are also not bad. Just like a 2. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the 10th power pump we've seen.
Yeah, there's a lot of those in the set.
Next up, Jericho, dressed up. When this card attacks, if you have another Britannia character, this card gets 3,000 power until the end of the turn. Put a climax from your hand into waiting room. This card gets 1,000 power, and the following ability until the end of the turn. When this card's battle opponent is reversed, you may draw a card.
8 attacking at 7k is nice. Unfortunately, the second effect is kind of inconsistent. You're putting a lot on being able to reverse with this card if you actually use that effect. Do you play this? There's a lot of power pumps in the set. I think. I guess this is a 2. It's like not. It's like. No. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is.
2 is fine.
2 is fine. But
This is like Batman's only way to hand fix. I feel like historically though these don't get played very much, but I think 2 is fine. Like you can play it if you want to.
Yeah.
It's big.
It.
That's it. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Next up, Slater. Focus on the job. That's me every day at work, boys. Pay 2. Put a character from your stage into your waiting room. When you use this card's backup, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your opponent's characters with level higher than your opponent's level, and put it into your waiting room. 2,500 power backup. Anti-change.
Generic anti-change. Probably give it a 2. Stat counters are less relevant now, but still, anti-change counters are okay.
Gila, aggressive request. Pay 2 when this card is placed on stage from hand. You may pay the cost if you do. Search your deck for a climax. Reveal it to your opponent. Put it into your hand. Shuffle your deck afterwards. When this card becomes reversed, if the battle opponent of this card is higher than your opponent's level, you may put that character at the bottom of your opponent's deck. Battling character, sorry.
That climax search effect is very costly. Costing 2 stock on top of it being a 2/1, so you're paying 3 stock to get a search for a climax. I feel like in most cases the climax swapper is probably better for this kind of utility, grabbing climaxes, than this card will be, but this is also still just like an anti-change bottom deck bomb, so probably 2.
Sounds good.
It is not bad.
Next up, Hauser. At the Fighting Festival, when your other Britannia character attacks, this card gets X power until end of turn. X equals the number of other Britannia characters you have times 500. Pay 1 at the beginning of the Encore step. If you do not have another rested character in your center stage, you may pay the cost if you do rest this card.
I think this is just a 1. There are probably better level 2 attackers in this card, and being able to pay 1 Encore is just not that worth it.
Gila, Unbothered. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you may put the top card of your clock into your waiting room. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, this card gets X power until the end of the turn. X equals to the number of Britannia characters you have times 500. Pay 1 when this card's level 2 or higher battle opponent is reversed. You may pay the cost if you do search your deck for up to 1 Britannia character. Reveal it to your opponent and put it into your hand. Shuffle afterwards.
This is a decent grind card because it's a healer. That is big, which synergizes with its search effect. So I could see people playing this. It's definitely not a bad card. I have to say though, the delayed search is kind of. I think you're probably just searching for counters with this card, or more healers, I guess. This is fine. This is like a 2. This is like a decent grinding card, which the deck. Definitely there are definitely builds of this deck that want to do that at level 3, so this is like a perfectly fine card.
2?
Yep.
Alright, sounds good. Hauser, Smile of Relief, 500 power assist. Put a card from your hand into your waiting room and put this card into your waiting room. Choose a Britannia character in your waiting room and return it to hand. Someone asked in chat earlier, yes, I also call this crack. Anything that pops itself off the board, I call crack.
I don't know if it's like a keyword shorthand or like it's not, I don't know if it's a shorthand for the archetype. It's more like when we see the send to waiting room, we just say crack. But this is probably this is fine. This is like a 2. Unfortunately, I think the assist. I think it. I wish that it did something else.
Yeah.
That would make me feel better about running this card. But the second effect is solid. So.
Vivian, mildly threatening words. At the beginning of your opponent's draw phase, reveal the top card of your deck. That card is level 1 or higher. You may return this card to your hand.
I think it's just a 1. This is not attack at a high power level. It's just bad, guys. There are better options. Yeah.
Next up, we got Zeal, dotted younger brother. Dotted? Okay, dotted. I think it's dotted.
Yeah.
Pay 1 when this
dotted?
card is...
No, it's dotted. It's dotted.
Dotted younger brother. Pay 1 when this card is placed on the stage from the hand. You may pay the cost if you do search your deck for up to 1 Gila, spending time at home, and put it on any position of your stage and shuffle your deck.
I mean, like, no, I don't think so. This doesn't do anything else. It literally just plays this card from, like, I feel like even the Summon Ricky would be better than this card. If this could summon it for no stock cost, that'd be kind of cool. But like, unfortunately, I feel like, you know, the Summon Ricky kind of does this card's job better. This card just doesn't do enough. Because the card it summons is also just not very relevant past level 0, unfortunately. So I think I give this a 1.
Fair. Next up, Dreyfus, Grandmaster. So another card that interacts with both climaxes in blue. It's a level assist. All of your Holy Knights in front of this card get X power. X equals to that character's level times 500. And climax combo, put either or of the climaxes from your hand into your waiting room. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you may pay the cost if you do choose either or of the climaxes in your waiting room and return it to hand.
Oh, right. So this is it's still a pay 1 climax swap.
Yeah, but there are level of supports that do this climax swap and they would pay 1. So there is
right.
a subtraction.
Sure. Yeah, of course. Obviously you only play this in that deck. I think this is like fine. This is like, look, if you're playing this deck, it's like pretty okay. The fact that one of the triggers is pants is like very nice for this kind of climax swap effect, because you get to basically do whatever combo you want thanks to this level assist. Probably just like a 2 though, I think.
Sure.
It's like a slightly upgraded version of the climax swapper for that deck specifically.
Next up, Hendrickson, tables turned. If you have 2 or more other Britannia characters, this card gets 2,000 power. At the beginning of the Encore step, if you do not have any other rested characters in your center stage, you may pay the cost if you do rest this card.
This is probably meant to be like a standby target, like competition for the red one with Hanocore. Unfortunately, I think the red one is just better. In most cases, you could play 8 1/1s, I guess. You know,
Poggy Walkie.
like you did in the day. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think it's just like a 1. I don't see a reason to play this over the Hanocore, unfortunately.
And then we got Jericho. She is in an embarrassing state. That is definitely true. Very embarrassing. This card gets 1,000 power for each of your other Britannia characters.
Standby target? So it gives this gets like a 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a 2. Solid standby target, I guess. Very lewd, I guess.
Food value. Yeah, there's value there.
Wait, is Jericho a guy?
No, I think it's a girl. Actually,
Okay.
I don't know. Next card. Demon Blood. Reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is a Britannia character, put it into your hand. Choose one of your Britannia characters, and that character gets 2,000 power and a soul, and the following ability until the end of the turn. At the beginning of the Encore step, put the top card of your deck into your waiting room. If that card is a Britannia character, put this card into your waiting room.
Console. Wait, what?
Yeah, it'll just like kill off the character basically.
just
If you
kill
mill
it,
the
right?
character. What?
If you don't mill, it'll kill the character you chose if it doesn't get a.
If it mills the character, it will kill the character.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Oh. Is this just bad? This is just bad. Yeah.
Just bad?
This is probably, yeah. I think it's a 1.
Hey man, you clear your board for their on reverse stuff.
If you
Hopefully.
mill
If you mill character. Yeah, that's true.
What if you mill this event, dude?
That's true. Yeah, 1 is fine. And that's it for blue. We'll just get into box promos real quick. Make sure that so blue is done. Box promos real quick. The first box promo for yellow is this SD Meliotis. When this card is placed on stage from hand, put the top 2 cards of your deck into your waiting room. There's a climax among them. It gains 2 soul for the turn. Pay 1 when damage dealt by this card is cancelled. You may pay the cost if you do draw a card.
Not bad. I can definitely see people playing this. You know, plus 2 soul, this kind of effect is like can be pretty swingy, level 0, and being able to pay 1 plus if it does cancel is like not bad. This is like 2. It's not a 1 by any means.
Next up we got so 2, right?
Yeah, 2.
Next up we got this SD Elizabeth. When this card is placed on stage from hand, choose one cost 1 or higher character in your opponent's waiting room and put it on an open position of your opponent's backstage.
Oh. So if their board is full, I think this is just like this is probably just a 1. But it's cool that they cannot play a card if their board is full.
Well, you choose. You choose the position.
No, but it has to be an open position.
So
if there's
I
no
see.
open position, it doesn't get played, right?
Oh, I see.
It's still just like a 1. Cute card.
Cute card. SD Diane. When this card attacks, you may put the top card of your deck into your waiting room. If that card is a climax, draw a card, choose a card in your hand, and put it into waiting room. At the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, you may pay the cost if you do move this card to an open position of your backstage.
Generally with cards like this, we want the repeatable effect due to running, like surviving, to be like more impactful than this. So I think this is just a 1. Unfortunately, you're like paying 1 stock for an opportunity to mill it again, which is not that great.
Mm-hmm. Next up, we got SD King. If the character facing this card is cost 0 or lower, this card cannot become reversed. And then when this card is placed on station hand, reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is a Britannia character, this card gets 2,000 power until end of the turn.
Probably not very good because this deck does not cannot play 8 standby. So I'd probably just give this a 1. I think, yeah.
SD Bond. This ability activates up to once per turn. When this card becomes reversed in battle, reveal the top card of your deck. The card is level 2 or higher, you may rest this card.
Here's a 1. This does nothing.
The art is super
It's
nice. I
not
really
big.
like this art. I really like this art.
The SD kind of art, yeah, sure. Yeah, I think this is the 1 though. It doesn't do anything. It's not big, right? So there's no real payoff for playing this card and having it flip, other than like the costless plus, which there are many other better options in the set. So just a 1.
And that's it. That's all she wrote. If I
Woo-wee,
can
woo.
scroll back to the start. It'll take a while. Or I can just set the PowerPoint. Just do a quick browse of all the cards. Guys, thank you for being part of.
Look at all those amazing scans, guys.
Look at all these incredible scans. I wonder where we get these incredible scans. Actually, oh my God. Oh, look. Oh, yes. Anyways, thank you everyone for coming to the 11.5th episode of the best ever Weiss set review show for the 7 Deadly Sins English exclusive. Set looks fun, looks interesting.